for your cooperation.
Hey, this is BT, and I am going to review the MOTEGI GP review for 2016. Let's get right to it. First of all, you like, like, you get down to Moto 3. I was watching Moto 3, right? And I was thinking, like, Moto 3, the race, especially for Brad Binder, it was like, it's kind of like that couple that has, like a kid that's like 12 and a kid that's 10, and they have a house, and they've been living together for like 10 years, but they have a 12-year-old. You know what I'm saying, right? They got a car together, and all of a sudden they end up getting married, and you go, really? That's what Moto 3 was like. It was like, where's your incentive, Brad Binder? But you know what Brad Binder showed me? He's a champion. That dude went forward, and one of the few times Brad Binder, I thought he won the championship in Jerez when he came from 31st and won the race. I thought right then and there he devastated the field. So I thought when he got the little 3-4 second lead, I thought it's over. And Bastianini keep it going for the Beast. The Beast caught him and beat him. I thought it was great. I thought it was great for Ono to come in third place. I thought it was awesome. Not too much review for Moto 3. I'm gonna leave it alone because the championship already done. It was really no drama actually. Moto 3 kind of was a little boring. It wasn't like the typical Moto 3. A lot of passing. I thought it was just a little bit anticlimactic to say the least. So we'll just give Brad Binder his props, but give props to the Beast. The Beast Bastianini did his thing. Congrats to him. Congrats to Ono for getting a podium at his home race. So that was awesome. Anyway, move on to Moto 2. Moto 2, Luthi. I'm back on the Renz thing again. Renz, just when Renz showed some balls, and don't get me wrong, it took him guts because Renz was hurting. I think he went with a different kind. They didn't tell what kind of he did to get ready for the race. They wouldn't say what kind of painkillers, but I mean, I know he was hurting and he crashed out because he was pushing too hard because he was back in 22nd place. But it's like he digs a hole, and watch when it comes to Australia. Watch him do better there. Watch him get like a podium in Australia, and Zarco will suck ass, and then he'll bring him back together again. And Lowe's, I have nothing to say for Lowe's now. I really don't. I have nothing to say against Lowe's. He's perplexing. He's like the weather. 1 minute it's good, next minute, what the? I don't know. Even he's like, I don't know. He's the biggest question mark in Moto 2. He's inconsistent. And I have a college education. That's sad. Anyway, he's inconsistent, but you got to give it to Zarco. Tight shoes Zarco did his thing. He gets beat in the beginning. I guess the tires come back, or he gets better later in the race, and he came back and he gave Luthi a race. But, congratulations to Tom Luthi. I was glad to see Luthi didn't lose it. That was boring. I mean, that was corny, I know, but I like corny jokes, so I'm glad to see Luthi didn't lose it. But I thought it was an okay race. Like I said, everything about Motegi was weird, man. It's like the race was kind of boring, and then toward the end it got better, and then it was like, and then I thought the director switched to like who's got the better race, and then I don't know. I thought it was just okay. Move on to MotoGP. MotoGP, I'm gonna call that the Sixth Sense race. You watch The Sixth Sense, one of the greatest movies ever. That's what that race was, because you thought it was gonna be a regular race. You thought it'd be a good race because everybody had the same pace. And then all of a sudden, boom, Marquez wins the championship. Nobody saw that coming. It's like The Sixth Sense. Nobody saw that ending coming, and nobody saw that ending coming with the movie or in the race, because you think both Yamahas crashing. There's a better chance of me going out with Angelina Jolie than what happened at Motegi. I don't know what the deal was with Motegi. It was a nice race. I mean, it was a beautiful day outside. It was beautiful. The track was a perfect temperature, a perfect day for racing, and everybody was sliding out. It was like they sprinkled the track with like banana peels. That's the only thing I can say. They sprinkled the track with banana peels, and everybody just sliding away. And before I even go further, on top of the head, you gotta give it up for Danny Pedrosa and Jorge Lorenzo. Man, that's why I don't talk bad about racers. I hate to hear people talk bad, because the two high sides those guys took, wow. I mean, you're watching Pedrosa, you go, whoa, and that was ugly, and he survived that. And I mean, his collarbone was broke. They should call that dude Mr. Potato Head, because they have to put him back together. He's like Mr. Humpty Dumpty. I mean, seriously, and pretty soon, there's not going to be enough pieces to put him back together again. I love Danny, I really do, but it's at least, the second or third time he's broken that collarbone. I mean, after a while, it's got to be almost ground down to just nothing but calcium deposits, right? I mean, at this point, I mean, he can't go through an airport now without going off. I think he's a terrorist. I mean, like, hey, that 6th grade kid over there, I think he's a terrorist. Why? Because the metal detector is going off. No, that's just his collarbone. That's what Danny's like. I feel bad for the guy. I wouldn't make fun of him, but man, I think maybe you should think about doing something else, Danny. I mean, seriously, like, I don't know. Going back to 6th grade and finishing up, I don't know what it is. I just don't want to see Danny get hurt again. And I mean, I just feel for the guy. He was like he was turning the corner and coming back with a strong second half of the season like he did last year, and this happens. I feel for the guy, I really do. Jorge Lorenzo took another. That off he took was like the one in China when he broke both his ankles, and he hit nasty. I mean, oh, his back, it was just a horrible. That's why I hate when people talk bad about racers, because those guys have the guts to get on that bike, and that bike spit them off. It was like watching a race back in the 90s with the 500 era. You know, when Rossi was like, fuck. That's what it was like watching that race. I don't know what it was with that track, man. I guess it's the heartbreaking. I don't know what it is, the Michelin's, whatever it was, man. It was hard to watch because it was just those high sides were hard to watch. You got to give it up for Lorenzo. Anybody talks crap about Lorenzo not being tough, you can kiss my ass. What that guy did, helicopter to a hospital, and then came back and finished the race. I mean, he came back with a drip and then qualified on the front row. Are you serious? You serious, bro? I mean, that guy, I got a hangnail right now, and it's killing me. I almost had that guy with the wheelchair wheel me to my gate here at the airport. That's how bad my hangnail is killing me. And Jorge Lorenzo qualified on the first row after coming from the hospital. Give it up for those guys. That's why I hate hearing people talk crap about it. But the race itself, you never saw it coming. I mean, even Rossi, if you watch the after-race interviews, Rossi was like, I wasn't pushing too hard. I mean, I was doing my regular race, and the front end just went out from under him. Same way with Jorge. The front end just went out. It was hard. That race was a weird race. But props to Marquez. What Marquez did this year, and my people think I have a love fest with Marquez, which I do, but I try to call this as objectively as I can. What Marquez did this year was a perfect example of the maturation of Marquez. I picked three races. In France, when he and Dovey went at the same time, remember how they had like a synchronized crash? They both went out at the same time, at the exact same time. He got back on the bike and he scored. Correct me if I'm wrong. He scored at least 2 points. I know he scored a point at least. He finished the race, I think, in 13th or 14th, but he scored a point. Okay, and I think he scored a point in every race this year, I think. But that's what it takes to win a championship. And he only won, I think, 5 races, which was great because his T-shirt said, "Give me 5." Which meant 5 world championships, but he also just won 5 races this year. But it was him knowing when to go. You know what? I'm not going to win. I'm not going to bend it. I'm going to control myself. And for Marquez fan, for people who like to see people go for it like Marquez, whether you love him or whether you hate him, you still have to admire the fact that he makes races fun. What Marquez does, I mean, watching he and Rossi battle is worth the price of admission alone. That dude is honestly, he's like Rossi 2.0. I mean, he's not as funny, but he has more fun at least. I mean, that's how Rossi used to have fun. How Marquez has fun, that's how Rossi used to have fun. And it's just great to watch him celebrate and that boyish smile and enthusiasm. And he's so aggressive. You have to love what he does. And you have to love the era that we're in. We are in the golden age of GP. I know they say it and I'm repeating it, but it's the truth, man. You had 8 different winners this year. 8 different winners. You might have 9 different winners. How great is that? That's what made the championship so great. Marquez knew when to let off. And you see new winners. I thought it was great. This year was great in GP. Keep it going for Marquez. Give me 5. I thought that was great. It's almost like he's a soul brother. What's up, Marquez? Give me 5. And it was awesome to watch him do what he did. I think GP's just getting better. But, you know, now it's kind of anticlimactic. You know what I'm trying to say. Toward the end of the season because championship sewn up in MotoGP. Now Moto 2 is stepping up. So Moto 2, I'm going to say Zarco's going to win the whole championship. I think Zarco's going to win it. I like to see Rins come back, but 26 points with 3 races left, that's a lot to ask. But you never know, man. That's what motorcycle racing for you. You got to love it. So props to Marquez on Give Me 5. Say what you want about him. That guy makes racing fun. Props to Bradley Smith for what he was going through. He wasn't so much the pain, he couldn't bend his knees. You know how hard it had. You give those guys props. I give props to Bradley. He's my friend, but he's also a great racer. Props to Maverick Vinales for doing the damn thing. He wheelied off the line. You see him wheelie off the line? I thought he was in a drag race. He wheelied off the line twice, and it cost him in time, but he still finished on the podium. Granted, due to a crash from Jorge, but it was just great racing. Props to Jorge, and props to Humpty Dumpty, Little Humpty Dumpty, which is Danny Pedrosa. I'm gonna call him Little Humpty Dumpty, Little Danny Humpty Dumpty. I hope he gets better. I really do. I thought it was great racing. Australia's next. I love Australia. I think it's going to be a great race in there. That track is wide open. You got to have balls at that racetrack. So it's awesome. I think it's going to be great racing. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the review. I'm doing it at the airport right now, and I'm going to close it up right now because my flight is about to leave. But anyway, that's the MotoGP Motegi review. I call this race the banana race because everybody was sliding off the track. Anyway, that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll be back next week with another review from MotoGP. Until then, this is MotoGP BT saying peace.